grading, I think a lot of people have tons of questions about grading.
So we put up a poll on Instagram, and Tatum has some written down that she's going to read to us that our customers asked. So.
Okay, well, let's just get some of that.
Okay, there's a couple questions. So, someone asked, "Is BGS 10 worth more than a PSA 10?"
BGS 10 is worth more than a PSA 10.
When is it not? Is it ever?
I don't think it ever. I think BGS 10s are always more than PSA 10s. So, like, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
That's just a simple yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me say this: it's much harder to get a BGS 10 than it is a PSA 10.
Agreed.
Also.
Someone asked, "How often will BGS upgrade one of the subgrades if you resubmit a card, probably for like GCR or something?"
So with GCR, I wouldn't say there's like an exact. I'm not gonna say 10% of the time they upgrade it or whatever. I would say
it's not like that. It's not like there's a. I guess we could do a study and see what the exact percentage is, but it depends on everything. Like
if you turn in 100 cards, you could get 20 bumps, you could get 0.
Yeah.
There's like you could get 50 bumps.
And
There's
GCR is graded card review, or
With
people call, another thing that people call them are bumps.
Yeah, and you're just taking a card that's already slabbed and you're sending it to Beckett, PSA, or whoever to try and get
the grade bump, the overall grade bumped. But you got to understand it's hard. It's not easy because then everybody would be doing it. So just understand that it is hard, but it does happen also.
Yeah, it does happen.
What happens if a card exceeds the DV, declared value?
So the company that uses declared value is PSA, and if it exceeds the declared value once it's graded, they'll just upcharge you to the next level, which sometimes, or I would say like 99% of the time, people are happy.
Yeah, the only time people aren't happy is whenever they don't get a 10 and they try and sneak a card underneath in a lower level of a PSA 8 or 9, and then they get upcharged too. But you do want to, like most of the time, you want to get upcharged. You want to get upcharged because you got probably a PSA 10 and it went into the next bracket. I know a lot of people complain about upcharges, but for me, when I see them, I'm like,
so yeah, let's go.
I'm
they
good
got a
with
good
that.
grade,
Yeah. And my card's worth more money, so.
How do you put a value on a card that's pop 1?
That's almost like for me, that's almost like it depends. Is it like the pop 1 because you're the first one to get it graded, or is it pop 1 because it's actually a really rare card and hard to get it graded? There's two different ways to look at it. Either way, I would put the value at more than a regular PSA 10 if it's just pop 1, or regular BGS 9.5 or BGS 10, whatever it is as a pop 1. I would push the overall value. Percentage wise, I don't know what to say because it depends on the card.
With pop 1s, it's kind of like, what is someone willing to pay for it?
Exactly. It's almost like a 1-on-1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how much you can get for what is people willing to pay for.
If someone wants to argue with your price, it's like, go buy another one.
Yeah. And you can't.
What is dual service for PSA?
I'll let you explain that because this is a bunch of different. People think dual service only means adding the auto grade onto it too, but that's not the case.
So dual pretty much covers anything that is not just grading the card. If you just want a card grade, you don't want dual. But if you want auto authentication, in-person autos like authenticated, auto and card grade, just auto grade, that would be the dual service.
Anything that's just not card grade is considered dual service, right?
Correct.
All right, gotcha.
Okay. How do I know what I should grade from my collection?
So this is probably one of the
most common
questions that we get all the time. Honestly, it's just research. It's research. First of all, I would go to the secondary market if you're just trying to get value out of it. If you want to grade something for your PC, just grade it. If you want to grade it for your... Well, I feel like if you want to grade something for your PC and get a slab, just go ahead and do it. Now, most people are talking about like which ones bring more value for grading for me so I can flip it or sell it or whatever the case may be. So I would do my research, go on eBay or 130point.com or Alt or Card Ladder, one of the services that showed you sold comps, and go on there and see if it's worth it. And then you'll be able to tell.
For people that are new and just like inherited cards from their parents or grandparents or whoever, I would say try and figure out the condition. And if you're looking at sold comps, I'm just basing off newer cards. Obviously, vintage is different. I would say maybe look at your card as like a PSA 8. Just assume it's going to get an 8 and be like, if I put X amount of dollars into it for grading, am I making money? If it gets an 8. And obviously, if it gets a 9 or 10, you're in the clear. If it gets a 4 or 5 for whatever reason, you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Right. Right.
And then, yeah, just like you said.
But there's 4 categories you got to look at: corners, centering, surface, and edges. So just try and concentrate on those 4. Make sure you have good lighting when you're looking at them, and then go look on the secondary market to
and
see
make sure it
if
makes
it's worth
sense
it.
money-wise.
Yeah.
Should you grade your one of ones?
I mean, this also comes up a lot. Me personally, I do. I think that it brings a little bit more value to them, especially if they grade out. Another reason why I grade them is because it keeps them encapsulated, and I think they look nice in the slabs. So that's my opinion.
So opposite side of what you said, the good grades help it. Like the Trevor Lawrence Black Prism. I think it got a BGS 6 or PSA 6 or something like that. Do you think that hurts it? Do you think that like people who can afford to buy that card and are buying that card, do you think they care about the 6?
I do.
Okay.
I think that does like something that low on a modern card. There's obviously something wrong with it, so that would hurt it, in my opinion. I don't know if that's fact. I mean that, that's not a fact, but in my opinion, when I see that card, I automatically think, what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it has like tainted.
I think that's it for the questions that we got about.
Okay, those are a bunch of good. I think those are a bunch of good questions that will help people out when it comes to grading.
We appreciate you guys for sending in the comments and the questions. It does help us.